Hari Om Class 7, it's Ankush Dada. Again I am here with our computer class. In our last computer class, we learned about computer languages. In learning computer languages, we also go through the types of computer languages. There were three main types of computer languages, right? First one was machine level language, second one was assembly language, third was high level language. Now in today's class we will learn about these types of computer languages, all these three types of computer languages in detail. Okay, now we will start with our first language. The first language of computer was machine level language. Okay, machine level language, as the name suggests itself, it is a language which is directly understood to the machine. In the last year you learned this also, that computer understands only two symbols, 0 and 1. Anyone thought that even computer is one of the fastest, smartest and accurate machine we human race ever have? So why it only understood only two symbols? Why? The answer is hidden in the definition of computer. Okay, computer is an electronic machine. This we are learning from first standard, right? But this is the one and only reason why computer understands only two symbols. Okay, because computer is an electronic machine. It's an electronic machine. That's why it only understands the language of electricity. The language of electricity, that is on or off. On or off. Machine language comprises of just two symbols, means machine language has only two symbols, 0 and 1, where 0 stands for off signal. It stands for off signal. 0 stands for off signal and 1 stands for on signal. Now before go any further, let's see the definition of machine language. Okay, you need to write it down. I will also circulate the PDF file or the Word file for your reference. Now let's see the definition of machine level language. A language which is made up of only 0 and 1 symbols. Okay, a language which is made up of only 0 and 1 symbols and directly understood by the machine itself. Okay, directly understood by the machine itself. That's why it is known as machine level language. Machine level language, or it's also known as with the name of low level language. Okay, low level language. Now here's one note. You might get question in your head, why low level language? Okay, it's simple. It is also known as low level language because it's made up of 0 and 1 symbols and very difficult to understand by us human beings. So the popularity of this language, the popularity means people were not using this kind of languages frequently because it was hard. So the popularity of this language was very low, and since it's also known as the name of low level language. Now advantage of machine language. Okay, there were some advantage also for machine language. Now, there is only one main advantage of machine language. Okay, there is only one main advantage of machine level language. What is that? Fast processing speed. Fast processing speed, like our thinking speed. Machine language has the fastest processing speed, okay, compared to any other computer languages, compared to those two languages. Machine level itself is made up of the language of machines, means the machine level language was made up of machine language itself. So whatever the coding, the programmers were doing, it was directly understood or understandable by the machine itself. Okay, now let's see. Machine level itself is made up of the language of machines. So instructions are directly processed by the computer and not required to be translated. In our last period we learned that computer needs translators. Okay, so the problem of not understanding each other's language, users and computers language, this problem was solved with the translators. Now, and that's why programs written in machine language gets processed very quickly, means it's get processed very quickly. Now, like it has the advantages, it also has disadvantages too. Compared to advantages, it has more disadvantages. Now, what are they? Let's see. First and the most biggest disadvantage of machine level language is difficult to use. Okay, never forget this, it's difficult to use. This was the main reason, so it's called low level language, because it was very difficult to understood. Now let's see why. As machine language uses only two symbols, 0 and 1, it represents all data and instructions in the computer system. So remembering each and every code made up of 0 and 1 is extremely hard. Okay, and programs of machine level language were different for every different type of machines. So it was machine dependent, means if we are doing program for one particular machine and we need to use it on other machines too, so we can't use them like this. We can't use them if that machine model is little different, so we need to do the programming again, and we need to use the different codes for that different machine. So it was a big disadvantage of machine level language. Along with it is difficult to use, it was also a machine dependent. Okay, so these were the disadvantages of machine level language. This was the information of machine level language. Now we will learn about the second type of computer language, that is assembly language. Now, because of the various disadvantages of writing programs in machine language, an alternative language was developed. Alternative language means which was updated. Computer language was updated in 1950. Okay, after machine level language it got updated in 1950. That was based on the English alphabet codes. Okay, it was based on English alphabet codes. Remember, in machine language which codes were used, which symbols were used? 0 and 1. Only 0 and 1 was there. okay, to work with. Now in assembly language, which was developed in 1950, English alphabet codes to represent data and instructions in the computer were used. Okay, it's get used of English alphabet codes. Assembly language also used symbolic codes. Okay, it was also using symbolic codes which are not directly understood by the computer. Now reason we all know, okay, because machine language or computer language both are same. Both means computer language did not understood any other symbol than 0 or 1. So these codes or these symbolic codes which are not directly understood by the computer. So a translator needed to convert assembly language program into their corresponding machine codes. Okay, again I am repeating, listen carefully. Assembly language used symbolic codes which are not directly understood by the computer. So a translator needed to convert the assembly language program into their corresponding machine codes. This translator program is called assembler. What it's called? Assembler. Now in assembly language, assembler is the translator program. Okay, it's a translator program. What's the work of this translator program? To convert symbolic codes which were used in assembly language into machine language codes or machine language programs, means from English symbols to 0 and 1 codes. That was the use of assembler, means the translator program of assembly language. Now it's time for assembly language programs definition. Okay, a language which uses English alphabet based short formed words. Okay, short form words based on which language? English alphabet based short form words as codes. Okay, a language which was using English alphabet based short formed words as codes to use or to represent various instructions like A for add, C for compare. These type of short form words were used in assembly language. Okay, for what purpose? For giving various instructions. Such language was known as assembly level language. Now I am telling the short definition, so it will not get lengthy. A language which uses English alphabet based short form words for giving instructions to the computer. Such language is called assembly level language. Okay, full stop. Now advantages of assembly level language. First, it was easy to understand. Okay, not that easy, but still it was easy to understand as compared to the machine language. It is easier to understand and use. Second advantage, it's also easy to remove and modify errors. It's also easy to remove and modify errors. Now errors means what? Errors means mistakes. Now just think, if you are working on a machine level language, you are supposed to be a programmer. Suppose, just think, you are a programmer and you are working on machine level language, and certain errors occurred. Okay, some mistakes happen and you are trying to find it, you are trying to solve it, finding it and solving it, but all the codes are in 0 and 1 format. Okay, which was very hard, nearly impossible to remember all the codes by heart. Okay, so it will be very difficult to solve those mistakes, to correct those mistakes. So that's why, compared to the machine level language, assembly language was easy, and solving or removing the errors or the problems in assembly language programming was also easy compared to machine level language. Now in assembly level language there were some advantages, so there were some disadvantages also. Now let's see about the disadvantages. Assembly language have one main disadvantage in it. Okay, what was this disadvantage? It's also a machine dependent language. Array. Now remember what I said, machine dependent means we can't use one machine's program or codes on the other type of machines. Okay, means in short, if I want to explain this concept, it's like, suppose someone has Samsung company's laptop. He did some coding, he did some programming in computer of in Samsung laptop, and he is trying to use those program in Lenovo laptop. So the Samsung laptop program will not run on Lenovo company's program, on Lenovo company's laptop. Okay, this situation is known as machine dependent language. This was the machine dependent language, means one machine language will not run or acceptable on other machine. Okay, understood? Now this was the biggest disadvantage of machine level language also and assembly language also. Don't forget it. Okay, it may come in your exam. Now second is also done. Now time for the third one, high level language. Now time for the high level language. Machines language and assembly language both were machine dependent. So programmers felt, and it was also needed, right? It was also needed. Till which time, till how many times they will do the coding separately for so many computers, so many different types of devices, right? To have a language whose programs can be used. Okay, to have such language whose programs can be used on any type of machine, and like this high level language was developed. This was the reason why high level language was developed. Now where we can work as per our requirement. One more point is there which make this language high level language. High level language was machine independent. Remember, I was using the word dependent, machine dependent. Now I am using the word machine independent, and it allows programmer to use small English sentences. as commands. So it makes programmer to use this language more. Understood the difference between the assembly language and the high level language? In assembly language we were using only the short forms, the short form codes of English alphabets, right? Now here what we are using? Here using small sentences as a command, like we gave the orders like sit down, stand up, go away, come inside. These are the small sentences, right? So like this small sentences were allowed of English language, okay, in doing the programming. So it makes programmer to use this language more compared to the other two languages. In high level language, compiler and interpreter are the translator programs of high level language. Remember and note this point, okay? I am repeating, listen carefully. In high level language, compiler and interpreter are the translator programs of high level language. Remember, in three types of computer languages, first was machine level language. Machine level language was made up of machine language itself, so it do not need any kind of translator. So now remains the two languages. Second one was assembly language and the third one was high level language. In assembly level language, the name of the translator program is assembler. The name of the translator program is assembler. And in high level language, the name of the translator programs are interpreter and compiler. First is compiler and second is interpreter. In which language? In high level language. Okay, note this point also. This will definitely come in as some question, like in objective or in the very short type questions, but it will definitely come. Okay, so it's one of the main and important point from computer languages. Note this out. Okay, now these were the three types of computer languages. Now in next class of our computer, we will learn the process of compiler, interpreter and the assembler, means how this interpreter works in short. After that we will learn about the computer languages generations. Okay, this we will learn in our next computer class. I hope you understood. Please do the homework and send it to me on my personal number. Okay, I will send the essays in our WhatsApp group. Hari Om.